Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm so excited that you are taking time out of your busy schedule to watch this webinar. This is the Making This Your Best Ramadan Food Edition webinar. So I'm going to be talking about a lot of things to help get you into the best place for you physically to be able to accomplish all your goals that you want to accomplish in Ramadan. And we're going to be talking about a lot of things, like I said. It's going to be a pretty condensed webinar, and I'm going to be going through a few things pretty quickly just to be able to fit everything into 1 hour. So if you do have any questions, I'm going to be sending out this webinar to you guys in an email. You can always respond to that email with your questions, and I'll get back to you with the answers. So I just wanted to first off say, before I get into the information part, is that I have not seen any other person or organization do a webinar like this. This is a webinar on like physically improving or reaching your optimal levels in terms of health in Ramadan to be able to accomplish your goals. And I'm going to be giving you this information from my perspective as a holistic doctor. So there's going to be a lot of evidence-based research being included into this information, so a lot of science to be able to help you efficiently and successfully reach your Ramadan goals this year. Okay, so let me share the screen with you here so that we can get started. All right. So my promise to you is that by the end of this webinar, I'm going to be teaching you and giving you the tips and tricks to help you sustain and keep your momentum all throughout Ramadan. So from day 1 to day 30 without skipping a beat. So this is going to be giving you that same energy, that same motivation that you have on day 1 all the way down to day 30. Which is what we need, because we tend to waver, and you know that's very normal and that's very human of us. But with these tips and this information, you should be able to keep that momentum throughout so that you actually and successfully finally reach your Ramadan goals 2020. I do want to say though that I want you to stay till the end of this webinar, because I'm going to be going through a routine of what you should be eating in iftar, how to break your fast and with what, when to take certain supplements between between iftar and sahur. That way you're able to successfully and efficiently use the nutrients that you've been eating in your meals and the supplements that you've been taking. And this will help you get to that efficient energy level that we want you to have to be able to sustain you throughout the whole month of Ramadan. So the whole routine breakdown is going to be, I'm going to be talking about and discussing it at the end of this webinar. This webinar is also going to be broken into 3 sections. Energy, we're going to be talking about your energy, we're going to be talking about meal prepping, and then we're going to be talking about the goals that you want to set for yourself in this Ramadan. So it is pretty condensed, so I want you to also have a paper and pen or open the notes app on your phone, just anything where you can actually take notes and refer back to them, because it is going to be a lot of information. And if you do have any questions, you'll have a piece of paper and pen to write them down for me to help you answer them. Okay, so a little bit about me. My name is Dr. Nirvana Gabala. I am a board certified and licensed naturopathic doctor. I also have a master's degree in clinical mental health counseling. I did externship, so I've worked in Cancer Treatment Centers of America in both the Philadelphia and Chicago locations, and there you know, I saw patients who had low energy levels because of their chemotherapy or radiation therapy, because of the cancer itself, and we have protocols in place to help them with their energy levels. So I have that information from my background, and I'm putting it into this webinar as well. I also have homeopathic training in Canada. I worked in True North Health Center in California, and that clinic specializes in water fast. So strictly water only fasting for anywhere between 4 days and 30 days. So I got to see patients who were on, that spectrum of days of fasting and see their health improve dramatically. And I studied, what actually happens physiologically when it comes to fasting. And then I also worked in Dubai. So I worked in a clinic there where we focus on sustainable health. So that is where our environment affects our health and how our health affects the environment, and how to be able to live in a balance and harmony to be able to have those both things be as healthy as possible. All of this was great experience. I've combined all of my experience, all of my education, my trial and errors in the past 10 years to put together this system, this blueprint for you to follow, to be able to give you what you really need, to be able to sustain yourself and your energy and your momentum throughout the entire month of Ramadan. Because in the end, what we really want is we want to accomplish the goals that we set out for ourselves. We want to build that connection between us and Allah in this month. This is the best time of year to be able to do that. And you know what? Even with this pandemic that we're facing, COVID-19, we might be at home, working from home, schooling at home, spending more time indoors. There are a lot of cons that come with that, but think about all the other pros that come with it too. You'll be able to pray on time, not have to take breaks, at work, because to be able to pray on time. You'll have your own sanctuary to be able to do those things. I want you to focus on the good things, and I also want you to think about where you want to be at the end of the month of Ramadan. You want to feel accomplished. You want to feel successful. You don't want to have regret that you didn't do everything that you wanted to do. I don't want you to have that feeling where you end the month of Ramadan just waiting for the next one to come to be finally able to do what you really wanted to do. Do it now. Do it this month. Take this information that I'm giving you right now and put it into practice. Really, it is going to help you. So really think about that. Reflect in this time what you want to be feeling at the end of Ramadan. You want to feel satisfaction. You want to feel successful. You want your family to look at you with pride. You said you were going to do something and you actually did it. You followed through with your word. That honesty to yourself and that integrity and that sincerity to yourself, doing what you're saying you're going to do, that's going to speak volumes to your family members. Let them see that. Let them see that you are capable of that, and let yourself be an example to them for whatever else that they want to accomplish for themselves in the next Ramadan, or just in their lives in general. So I want to start off with breaking a myth, which is to combat low energy, you need to increase it. And although this is true, it's not entirely true, because what you really need to think about is why we have that low energy in the first place, and what happens in our bodies physiologically and on a cellular level because of that low energy. We think that, okay, we don't get enough sleep, so the solution is we need sleep. We need more sleep. But when it comes to energy, it's not just black and white like this. In actuality, when you have low energy, what the body is doing is it's producing, because of this low energy, something called free radicals. It is causing free radical damage to your body. So you not having enough energy is actually causing damage to your body. So we not only need to increase your energy levels, but we need to combat this oxidative damage that's happening to your system. And I'm going to be going through these secrets to help you reach that point where you're increasing your energy, but you're also healing your body from that oxidative damage. It could be years and years of this damage that's been happening to your system, and you're not even realizing that's happening. So I'm going to be talking about how to detox your body and the importance of detoxing your body. I'm going to be talking about healing your gut, because your gut contains 80 to 90% of your immune function. But if your immune function is out of whack, your body's going to focus a lot on just healing itself and not really like healing the gut, or just combating the triggers and not really healing on regenerating and rejuvenating your system. And then I'm also going to be talking about nourishing organs and secrets to that as well. So with secret number one, detoxing your body, we all know that fasting, there's a spiritual aspect of it, but there's also the physical aspect of it. And with fasting, we're not just giving our body time, away from food. We're not just thinking about, how people less fortunate than us are living day to day without as much food as we are, but we're also, we're fasting to be able to regenerate and rejuvenate our system. And what happens is with fasting, physiologically, we're actually activating a pathway called AMPK. And what this does is that it increases the ketone levels in your body, much like the ketogenic diet, because you're restricting carbohydrates from your system. But in order for you to be able to utilize the effects properly of fasting, you need something called NAD+, which is nicotinamide dinucleotide. This is vital in giving you the energy levels that you need even while you're fasting to be able to function and have your body use the ketones to feed your system and not feeling like it's deprived or hungry or starved. So NAD tends to go down when we get older, when we have too much toxins in our body. It could be a variety of reasons. And why we need NAD is not just to make ATP. If you go back to Bio 101, we need to make ATP in the mitochondria. That's the powerhouse, and that's what gives us the energy. But it also repairs our damaged genes. So it's very important. Fasting, if you think about it, fasting can actually help repair damaged genes. And what are damaged genes usually lead to? Damaged genes usually lead to tumors and cancer and different types of diseases and different types of autoimmune conditions. So we need NAD more than we realize. It also helps with tightening leaky gut junctions. So if you have some sort of sensitivity to food, or if you feel like you get bloated or constipated, or you've been diagnosed with IBS, those all can be linked down to your mitochondrial health. So is your mitochondria functioning properly, functioning in the way that it needs to be able to supply your body with the NAD that it really needs to do all that? And more often than not, the answer is it is not healthy enough for it. So fasting is good for all of that. And the supplement that is great to help with the benefits of fasting, to exponentially improve your body's capacity to heal itself and to give you the energy that it needs throughout the whole month of Ramadan and beyond, I like to supplement with NAD+. And this is a great supplement. You do 2 pumps directly in the mouth, you squish for 30 seconds, and then you swallow. And because nicotinamide dinucleotide is a cursor of B vitamins. B vitamins are water soluble, so you don't want to take that on a full stomach. You don't want to take that with a meal. It won't be absorbed. You need to take that on an empty stomach. So that's supplement number 1. The next secret is healing your gut. So with healing your gut comes inflammation. More often than not as well, if you have a lot of inflammation, you possibly have gut issues. And you may not even realize that you're sensitive to something or that you actually have gut problems. Just because you have a bowel movement every day doesn't necessarily mean you have a healthy gut. But if you get bloated, if you are flatulent, if you belch, if you have bad skin, if you have acne, or even especially cystic acne, there are a lot of things that show your body that you need to improve your gut. So in Ramadan, the common triggers for inflammation for a very diseased gut are dairy products, which causes a lot of phlegm, and gluten. And you may have heard of these before being a problem and how you need to eliminate them from your diet. And the reality is it is very true. The science is there to tell you that you need these out of your body. It just causes too much inflammation, and too much inflammation in your system just keeps your body from having the energy and the redirection to heal things that it really needs to heal. If you're constantly eating something with dairy, so cheese or milk or yogurt, anything like that, your body will be on a continuous basis trying to beat those triggers, trying to decrease the inflammation as much as it can, and not really focusing on, let's say, your heart, if there's a problem with your heart, or your liver, if your body needs to really detox your liver. It will focus on the food that you're constantly putting in your body because it doesn't have any energy to do anything else, and that's what needs immediate attention. Gluten is the same thing, but with gluten, there are receptors in your thyroid that mimic gluten. So if your body is hyperactive, it's going to be an out of whack system. It's not going to know what is gluten and what needs targeting and what needs to be removed from your body and what your thyroid is. So I like to show this example of a healthy immune system and a hyperactive immune system. And a healthy immune system, aka a healthy gut, your body is the blue, and any trigger in your food or in the environment is yellow. So your body knows that it needs to target the yellow and it needs to treat the yellow. It needs to get the yellow out of your body. There's a very clear distinction between what is blue and what is yellow, what stays in your body, what is good for your body, and what is bad for your body. And a hyperactive immune system, your immune system is chaotic and it needs more help in distinguishing what is good and what is bad. So that's why I have, the color red and a little bit of a similar color to red, which is like a salmon, dark pink color. It may not accurately show or understand what is in your body that needs to be kicked out and what is your body that needs to stay in and actually has an important function. So it's like gluten and your thyroid. Thyroid is your red. That's good. That's your organ. It needs to do what it needs to do in your body. And gluten is the pink. So oftentimes people with an autoimmune condition with their thyroid, like Hashimoto's, if they're still consuming gluten, their body will sometimes attack the thyroid itself, thinking it's the gluten product that needs to be kicked out of the system and not actually gluten. So what I like to treat with that issue is intestinal repair complex. This is supplement number 2. And this you take 2 teaspoons and 8 ounces of water or juice. You swish down, swallow on an empty stomach before bed. And why I recommend that to my patients is because I want them to be able to heal their mucosal membrane. So this is your membranes from your mouth all the way to your colon. And when people have these triggers, a lot of sensitivities, a lot of food intolerances, it's because they have something called a leaky gut, where the junction, so the wall, your membranes of your gut are not as tight as they should be. They're allowing substances in your gut to go into the bloodstream, and that causes an inflammatory reaction where your body needs to respond to it, and it causes a lot of these hypersensitivities. So the intestinal repair complex helps coat your mucosal membranes. That way, if there is any kind of gut junction that is not as tight as it should be, it'll help create another barrier to prevent whatever you're eating, whatever is a trigger, from entering your bloodstream. This is a very, very good supplement. I highly, highly recommend it, and a lot of my patients see great results in very, very little time, in less than 2 weeks, if they're on it, sometimes even 1 week. Secret number 3 is nourishing your organs. And this is where I'm going to be talking about the sunnah foods. Now, there are a lot of sunnah foods, but I picked the ones that are going to be really beneficial to you and to you in Ramadan, especially with the environment that we're in right now. The food at the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him, was not the same type of food as we have now. Bread back then is not the same bread that we have now. Our bread has a lot of additives, has a lot of chemicals, has a lot of preservatives. It's not the same. So I am giving you what I think you should be having in your meals in Ramadan, and also what's going to be pure and not cause as much damage as anything else. So the first thing that I highly recommend is called the prophetic drink, and that's a cold drink with a sweet. So it could be dates, it could be raisins. In Ramadan, I like to do dates. So what I do is I soak dates in water and I leave it overnight. And then when I break my fast, I eat the dates and then I drink the water. And I'm going to be talking about that more in our bonus section at the end when I'm talking about the routine. The next thing is dates with watermelon. Which is, a way for, according to the Sunnah and according to how the Prophet, peace be upon him, used to eat, is he would combine heat and wet substances to help combat each other. So you have the watermelon, which contains a lot of water, and dates, which according to the Sunnah is a heat food. It helps balance each other out. And you need that because if you have in your body too much heat, the water will dry out. And if you have too much water, there's not going to be enough heat. So you need those two in balance, and that's why the meals should be in balance as well. The third thing is ginger with hot water and honey. Now, ginger helps decrease phlegm in your system and is also a good laxative. And why that is important is because we want natural laxatives to help increase the excretion of toxic substances in your body. Simply put, we want the bad stuff in your body to leave your body, which is what a laxative should do. It increases your bowel movements so that your colon actually gets rid of everything it needs to get rid of. Your body used it up, your body used whatever it needed to, it cleaned up whatever it needed to, and it kicked it out of the body. Grapes. I love grapes, and grapes is one of the 3 types of fruit, according to the Sunnah, that are the best. It's grapes, dates, and figs. Grapes are also great in their sugar content, and they're good in also creating bowel movements. So another plus for the toxic load. Cucumber. So cucumber with dates or raisins or honey are a good combination. So that's another thing that's like a wet and a heat. So cucumber with dates, also very good when it comes to the water content, which is what we need when we're fasting as well. And honey. So honey, especially buckwheat honey, there's a lot of research out there on buckwheat honey, if you can find it. It has a lot of antioxidants, especially flavonoids. And what that is good for, remember the free radical damage and oxidative stress that we put on our system when we don't have enough energy? The antioxidants helps combat the inflammation caused by that reaction. So it gets those free radicals out of your system. It also decreases your risk of heart attacks, strokes, and types of cancers. It improves your cholesterol levels and helps lower your blood pressure. So there's a lot of benefit when it comes to honey. The supplement that I want to link with that is vitamin D3. And vitamin D3 is not something, when we're talking about nourishing organs, it's not something that we can necessarily get from food. It's mostly something that we get from the sun. Because it's not an actual vitamin, it's a hormone. And a lot of people, especially in North America, or especially, just women, Muslim women who are covered head to toe, we just don't get enough vitamin D. So this supplement I really like. It's in the liquid form. I recommend doing 7,000 to 8,000 IUs per day in your mouth with a meal. So 7,000 to 8,000 IUs is about 7 to 8 drops. Each drop is 1,000 IU, and it's a fat-soluble vitamin. So you want to take that with food to be able to get it absorbed as much as possible into your system. Okay. Okay, so we got into the second section, which is meal prepping. When it comes to meal prepping, I want you to think about 3 to 4 meals that you are planning on cooking for that week, okay? And then I want you to break it down into what is fresh, how do you simplify it, and what do you freeze, FSF. So what I like to do in Ramadan, because I don't want to spend most of my time in the kitchen making food, I want to spend my time in ibadah, in worship. I want to spend my time completing my goals, reading the Quran, praying, making dhikr. So I break it down into these 3 things, FSF. What is fresh is the salads. What can I make 30 minutes to an hour before iftar that I can't really store ahead of time? I can't really make a salad 2 days in advance. The leaves will wilter. Like, it's not gonna be a tasty salad. So what is fresh? That is what I need to do 30 minutes to an hour before my meal. Simplify. When it comes to simplifying my meals, what can I replace me as? I can use my rice cooker. I don't need to be around that stove for 20 minutes making rice. I can use my rice cooker. Do I have a crock pot? I'm going to be using my crock pot a lot in Ramadan. So what I usually do is I put plastic bags, so Ziploc bags of my frozen vegetables, my sauces, my meats. What I do is I just saute them so that they have a coating, so they have some skin, and I put all of that in a Ziploc bag. I put it in when the day comes where I need to make a crock pot meal, I just take it out of the Ziploc bag, put it in, frozen and everything, add some water, add my spices, and then I just let it cook. I don't have to think about it. And then with freezing, so that was an example of me freezing things ahead of time to cook them when I need to. I also cut up my vegetables ahead of time. So I cut up my carrots or my zucchini or my eggplants, all of that. I put them in Ziploc bags and I put them in the freezer as well. That way I don't have to waste time cutting up things the day of. Everything is done beforehand. It's simplified even more for me. So those are the 3 things that I want you to think about when it comes to meal prepping. And as a sample menu, you always, always, always want to have your carbs and protein veggies in your meals. So for carbs, there's rice, pasta, potato, bread, stuffing, samosas, naan, roti, beans. And I understand that some of them they're not gluten, but if you can find a gluten alternative, that'd be great. So like I know they make rice pastas and lentil pastas. There is gluten-free bread. You can get very creative, but those are things that also you can think about ahead of time. Like samosas, you can make them ahead of time and freeze them. That way, when you need to cook them, you just take them out of the freezer the day of or the night before, and you just fry them or bake them however you make samosas. Protein, so these are, chicken, lamb, beef, fish, lentils, beans. If you're more vegetarian or vegan, then you'll focus more on the lentils and beans. And then your veggies, broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, snappies, zucchini, eggplants. Now, most of these are already detox type foods, so they're going to help your liver with its pathways, phase 1 and phase 2 pathways to help clear out toxins in your body. And those are veggies that you can also freeze very well, and you want to worry about it. Now, when it comes to meal prepping, when it comes to eating your meals, I would always start with your veggies and your salads. So put a plate out for you with your veggies and with your salad, and I want you to finish that first. Before you move on to the carbs and the protein, I want you to finish your salad and your vegetables first. That way your body fills up on the good stuff. You're not gaining weight in Ramadan, you're losing weight like what is supposed to happen. And then you can have your carbs and your protein afterwards. So that's another tip for you. Okay, now we're in the 3rd section of the webinar, my Factor 6 rule on how to accomplish your goals. When it comes to your goals, I like to use my Factor 6 rule to help me set up my reward systems. You need reward systems. We're just human beings. We thrive on rewards. We have the motivation, but to sustain your motivation, you need to have a system in place where you're constantly getting the feeling of satisfaction and a feeling of reward for what you're doing, for you reaching those little milestones, reaching into your goal. Okay, so the Factor 6 rule is basically dividing what your goal plan is by 6. So let's say, for example, your goal is to read the entire Quran in 3 weeks, because us as girls, we get our periods, and you may not read the Quran during your period or something happens. So you want to read the Quran in Ramadan, and you're giving yourself 21 days to do it. So you divide 21 by 6, and that gives you about 3.5, let's say 4 days. So every 4 days, you are rewarding yourself in some way leading up to the completion of the Quran. So I have some reward systems. Some rewards that I like to do for myself. Buying bath bombs, from Lush, and taking a long bath. That's a reward for me. It's relaxing. I put some candles. Getting a mani-pedi, that's a reward for me. Buying a new outfit, or buying a new book, or even buying a bouquet of flowers for myself. Taking a Pilates, I love Pilates. Taking a Pilates class, or buying a course in something that interests me. Like I like sewing, so buying like a sewing class, for myself. Those are all rewards that I give myself. And you think about rewards that are going to be good for you. Maybe it's buying a new skincare routine or something, buying new shoes. I love bags. Whatever you can think of, but you need to have these rewards set in place every 4 days when it comes to reading the entire Quran. Any other type of goal that you have where it's actually going to take the entire 30 days, then you divide 30 by 6, and that's 5. So every 5 days, you're giving yourself some type of reward to help you sustain and keep that momentum going for you. Okay, so here is my bonus. This is what I was telling you guys about, the routine. So let me just get here. All right, so the call to prayer, the adhan, you hear it. It's Maghrib time. It's time for you to break your fast. So what I would do, this is my typical routine, is I break my fast with dates or with the prophetic drink. So remember that. So the prophetic drink is the dates and water. So the dates have been soaked overnight in water. I break my fast with that. And with that, I take my vitamin D supplements. So remember, it's a fast soluble vitamin in quotes. You want to actually take that with a meal to help absorb the vitamin D into your system. So I start with a prophetic drink. And then I get up, I make wudu, and I pray Maghrib. So before I actually eat my iftar meal, I leave the table and I pray Maghrib. Then I start with my veggies and my salad, and I finish that. And then I continue on to the carbs and the protein. I eat more of the protein than I do with the carbs. You do not want to move into eating your carbs and your protein until you finish your entire plate of the veggies. I promise you, veggies are high dense calorie foods. Those are going to fill you up and they're going to be so nutritious for your body. They're going to give you the energy that you need to help sustain you throughout the entire month of Ramadan. You don't want to add more stress to your system with all these fried foods. And I mean, you could still have them, but you're not going to have them as much if you eat your veggies first. And then, after iftar, you wait for Isha prayer. You can pray your Tarawih prayers. So when that happens, you want to, after your Tarawih prayers, you want to go to sleep. So you don't want to stay up too late. You want to sleep because you're going to be waking up early to pray Fajr and for Sahur. So sleep after you pray Isha or your Tarawih prayers. And right before you sleep, this is when you take your intestinal repair complex. So you want to put the 2 tablespoons, or I think it was 2 teaspoons, in water or juice. You're going to drink it, swish in your mouth first, and then swallow. And that's going to let your body utilize the herbs and the nutrients in that supplement to help coat your mucosal membranes to heal your gut. Now, when you're waking up for sahur, you want to wake up 30 minutes before Fajr. And at that time, for sahur, you can eat your dates with a watermelon, or you can have your oats with honey and dates. I like oats because they're high in fiber, so that means they're going to be a good for your bowels. You're going to have better bowel movements when you incorporate oats into your diet. And then dates and honey, there's just all these great benefits, and they're very nutritious and they're very, very filling. Because of the fiber, they're also going to fill you up. You're not going to get as hungry. And then at this time, 20 minutes after you eat your sahur, so that's enough time for your body to digest and your stomach to really have emptied at this time, you're going to take your NAD plus complex. This is the NAD plus combination supplement that is going to help with your mitochondrial health and improve your energy levels on a very cellular level. And then you pray Fajr. So that is my breakdown. I know this was a lot of information, and there's even more information that I wish I could present to you that doesn't take up so much of your time. But because of that, I do have more I can help you with, and there is something that I am selling to you for your benefit. I promise. It's just for me to be able to help work with you more and actually finally reach the goals that you have in Ramadan. So I have a Making This Your Best Ramadan full program, which includes a strategy call. And in this call, we go over what your goals are in Ramadan and what your past struggles have been that have kept you from reaching those goals. And we put together a specialized plan for you. And this includes your food. This includes when you're going to do what you want to do. So when it comes to reading the Quran, for example, it's a very common goal for a lot of people. When is the best time for you to read Quran? What are the things that are stopping you from doing it as much as you want to? And how do we overcome those bumps? The supplements that I talked about that are so important for your health, for your energy, for your motivation, for your momentum, that's included in the program. They'll be expeditiously shipped to you, so you'll have them as soon as possible. And then also you'll get accountability. So you'll get me to be able to keep you on that road to success every single day. Where are you at? What do you need help in? What are your struggles? Are you reaching your targets day by day? You need that accountability. We all need that accountability. But that's not all. I also am going to be giving you my Quran blueprint, and this is, I love it. It's what each day is broken down to into what to read in the Quran. That way, by 21 days, actually, you can even finish it in less than 21 days. You have read the entire Quran, and I love this bonus. So that all comes down to a total value of $985. Now, if you think about this, you know, why is this year going to be so different for you? Why? I mean, if you keep doing what you've been doing, is it going to work? Is it really going to help you? I mean, if you've been going Ramadan after Ramadan, trying to accomplish goals and you're not accomplishing them, is what you're going to be doing this year really that different from what you've done before? You know, really think about it. Is there something that's really going to change? You know, and if it's not going to change, what can help you change? You know, is this program going to help you change? I believe it really will help you change. But do you believe that it'll help you change? Do you believe that this is the things that you need to help you get to where you want to be finally in Ramadan? And that's not all. I'm going to also be providing you with weekly assessments, and that is a sheet of paper, is basically like a questionnaire that asks you where you are, what are your struggles, how do we put together a game plan for you to overcome them. So every week might be different. One week you might be sick. Another week something might have come up with your family. How do we restructure your plan to get you to still reach your goals? And where are you at emotionally, mentally, physically? You know, what do we really need to add or take out from the plan? What is more realistic for you? Those weekly assessments are great for reflections and for you to really be realistic in your goals and to see exactly what you need to do day by day to reach them. So all of that comes to a total value of 1082, which I, you know, for me, you know, when you ask yourself, you know, I had an amazing Ramadan, the best one I've ever had in my whole life. And I even, you know, we don't know exactly what day Laylatul Qadr is going to be, but those last 10 days of Ramadan, you gave it your all. Is Laylatul Qadr for you to give everything in you to Laylatul Qadr? Is it worth $1,000? If you had to pay $1,000, is that enough for you? You know, 80 something years of worship, you know, on that day, would you pay $1,000 for the best type of worship that you ever had on that day? You really think about it, you know. Are you, like, how much are you worth to invest in yourself? Is it really worth it to invest in yourself and to what you really want to do? Is it worth it to build that relationship that you've always wanted with Allah, to get closer to Him? What's the price number in your head for that, you know? I'm also going to be giving you another bonus, which is a Facebook community. And that's where we all come in and we talk about our goals. We talk about what we just basically talk about what's been going on. You know, you don't have just me to talk to. You have all these other people who are in the same boat as you, who are trying to, you know, have the strongest relationship they've ever had with Allah in this Facebook community. And that's a value of $97. So, you know, I really do believe that information alone is not going to get you to where you want to be. You need people, you need help, you need a game plan. You know, you can attend as many webinars, but you really need to put together a system. And I have that system. I have that blueprint for you. You really need to implement it. You need to have those people around you. Like, hey, how are you doing? Did you read Quran today? How much of it did you read? What's been going on? Like, you know, how was fasting today? You know, you really need that support, and you may not get it, you know, from your family, because they might not have the same mindset. They might not have the same goals as you, but together we have, there's this community of us where we're thinking about each other, we're thinking about ourselves, we want each other to be successful. And you get that for a total value of $1,179. And that's not all. You'll also get one-on-one coaching with me. So I'm going to be providing you with my holistic functional approach to getting you to your optimal health, what you need to be doing, what you need to be taking. Everybody is different. Everybody, you know, has different susceptibilities. Someone might have a thyroid condition, someone might have a heart condition, someone may not be able to, you know, eat certain types of foods. You know, everything is so unique to you that a generalized plan is not gonna work. So with the one-on-one coaching, I'll go over all of this with you, what your conditions are, what your vulnerabilities are. How do we work with all of this to help you get to your best health, to help you get to the best Ramadan you have ever had? So this is, you know, in itself is, I think, a great value because everything is so customized to you. And we talk that we can spend, you know, a while just going through, you know, your mental state, your emotional state, your physical state. We really go in depth. This is a great offer, you know, don't you think? When it comes to really specializing and giving you a unique plan, I think so. And with that coaching, I'm also going to be giving you my lab analysis, which means if you have lab work from the past 6 months, I'm going to be talking about, from my perspective, what your lab values really mean. What are the markers that we should really be focusing on, and what you should have gotten tested but didn't. So we'll be going over your CBC, your CMP, your electrolyte levels. We're going to be going over your cholesterol levels, your thyroid level, your hormone levels. We're going to be doing a complete analysis of your lab work. And if you don't have lab work in the last 6 months, I'm going to give you a list based on what you've told me, what your conditions are, what your symptoms are, what your chief complaints are. I'm going to be giving you a list of the labs that I want you to run. So you go back to your primary care physician, your family doctor, and you say, hey, I would like these tests run. More often than not, they'll agree to them. They might ask you why. I'll coach you through everything that you would tell them if you get a little bit of a hesitant response from them. But yeah, it would be a whole list of everything that I want to evaluate, and then I'll explain it to you when you actually get that done, what is going on with your body. So all of that comes to a total value of $2,373. So when you're really thinking about investing in yourself, you know, or you know, like you have that income, you know, where's your money going? You know, every 2 weeks you're getting a check. Where's that money going? How much money are you going to spend in Eid for your Eid outfit, for the Eid dinner, you know, or you know, the family gatherings? How much would 1 year of you kind of taking it back a little bit to invest in yourself for this program to actually make Ramadan so successful and beneficial to you and your soul? You know, ask yourself, you know, can this really work for me? Is it worth it to work for me? Am I worth it? I think you're worth it. I think everyone is worth it. I think everyone deserves a chance to be able to do what they really want to do. But not every one of us has the experience or the knowledge or the education to be able to get to that point. And that's why I'm here. That's why I put this program for you, because I do have that, and it'd be wrong of me to not share that information with you. So even though this is over $2,000, I'm not going to be charging over $2,000. I'm going to be charging only $197 today. So if you think about it, that's a little bit more than the price of your supplements, and you get so much more. You get the coaching and the Facebook community and the accountability and the Quran blueprint and the strategy plan and specialized plan and the strategy call. You get so much just for this a little over what you'd be getting as for the supplements only. So you can email me here. I'm also going to be, if you're interested in the program, you can email me here. If you have questions, you can email me here as well. I'll also be, in the email that I'm going to be sending you, I'm going to be providing you with a link if you do want to order it. But yeah, this is, I think, the best thing that I've put together for you. As you know, my Muslim sisters, and being, a holistic doctor, what better way I thought would be to share my knowledge with my ummah, with you guys. And I'm so proud of this program, and I'm so excited to work with you. I just hope that you think about yourself and think that you are worth it to be able to get what you finally want this Ramadan. So thank you so much for listening and watching this webinar. And if you do have any questions or anything does come up, let me know. And I hope to be working with all of you. Assalamu alaikum. Good? Was it good?